Hello, welcome to the 24th session of Current Affairs 2020 Economy and Banking Concepts. Let us move to the first question. NABARD was established on the recommendations of which committee? There are 5 options: Malhotra Committee, Narasimhan Committee, Tarapur Committee, Shivaraman Committee and Rangarajan Committee. It was in 1982. 1982. You can take it down. Based on the recommendation of Shivaraman Committee, NABARD was formed. As we all know, NABARD is a developmental bank for agriculture and rural development. And one of the primary function of NABARD is refinancing. Refinancing, R-E-F-I-N-A-N-C-E-I-N-G, refinancing. Now, what is this refinancing? Now, suppose the commercial bank forwards loan to a farmer and it may become NPA or may not become an NPA, but on behalf of government, RBI makes sure that commercial banks forward sufficient amount of loan into the priority sectors like agriculture or maybe MSME sector loans. Now, to ensure that the banks are not in crunch of resources to forward further loan towards the beneficiaries, they brought this refinancing scheme. So every developmental bank, they further give loan to the commercial bank so that they can move forward and take it or forward this amount to the end users. So in a nutshell, most of the developmental banks in India like NHB, National Housing Bank, Mudra, SIDBI, NABARD, their primary function is refinancing. Another important function of NABARD is they are also supervisor of RRBs and cooperative banks. RRB means Regional Rural Bank and cooperative banks in our country. So these are a couple of important functions of NABARD. There are some subsidiary of NABARD as well, like NAPCON, NAPFIN, NAPKISAN Limited. However, we'll cover up these details in some other later classes. Let us move to the rest of the committees. Malhotra Committee is for reforms in insurance sector. Malhotra Committee is for reforms in insurance sector. After 1991, when the economy of India was opened, that means it moved from a closed economy to a LPG era. LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. It was during the tenure of late Prime Minister Narasimha Rao and the finance minister was Manmohan Singh. They have brought this new reform in Indian economy, and subsequently there was a need for some reforms in insurance sector. So hence the Malhotra Committee was formed and it gave its recommendation based on this insurance sector. Narasimhan Committee, there were two Narasimhan Committee, Narasimhan Committee 1 and 2, and please take it down. You can say the recommendations of Narasimhan Committee are the backbone of Indian banking sector. In fact, the changeover of Indian banking sector starting from depoliticization or maybe digitalization, core banking system, financial inclusion and a lot of other features have been recommended by Narsimhan Committee time to time and been successfully implemented by RBI and Government India as well as various banks. So Narsimhan Committee is on reforms in banking sector. Tarapur Committee is on capital account convertibility. Tarapur Committee was formed on capital account convertibility. It talked about the limit of fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP. What should be the target of fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP? Remember, like at present we talk about the fiscal deficit of say 3.8% or 4%. Fiscal deficit is a term of budget. We'll come across this term maybe in detail in some later classes. Fiscal deficit is expressed as a percentage of GDP. Okay, so what is the limit for this? What is the target for this? This has been recommended. There was also one more recommendation. The percentage of NPA of total asset. What should be the percentage of NPA of the total asset? What is the limit? So these are the things which has been recommended by Tarapur Committee. Rangarajan Committee. Mr. C. Rangarajan is an ex-governor of RBI. C. Rangarajan, ex-governor of RBI. His committee was based on poverty line. Before Rangarajan Committee, there was a committee under the chairmanship of Tendulkar Committee. The name of the committee was Tendulkar Committee. That Tendulkar Committee gave his recommendation on poverty line. Later on, Rangarajan Committee came, and according to Rangarajan Committee's recommendation, the poverty line, rupees 47 per day for urban India. I am repeating it. Rupees 47 per day for urban India and rupees 32 per day for rural area. Okay, you can take it down. Rupees 47 per day for urban area and rupees 32 per day for rural area. So answer for this question is option number 4. NABARD was established on recommendation of Shivaraman Committee 1982. The chairman of NABARD is Harsh Kumar Vanwala. Chairman of NABARD, Mr. Harsh Kumar Vanwala. Okay. Let us move to the next question. The Sudirman Cup is related to badminton. It is named after an Indonesian player called Dick Sudirman, and this is the World Cup for mixed World Cup for badminton. And remember, unlike other badminton tournaments, this is not an individual tournament. It is like where people or the players represent their country. So the Sudirman Cup is very reputed one where the players represent their country, and it's a mixed world championship. Answer is option number 2, badminton. Let us move to the next question. With which of the following countries has India recently conducted the joint military exercise named Sampriti? Now, time to time, India performs this type of exercises with different countries. This is because of bilateral relationship as well as defense pact with different countries. In 2020, India could perform only with Bangladesh. The name is Sampriti. It was conducted in Umian district of Meghalaya. It was conducted in Umian, Umian, Umion, Umion district of Meghalaya. Alright, let us see the other similar activities. With Sri Lanka in 2019, India participated in Mitra Shakti. The name of the exercise was Mitra Shakti. 6. Nepal Surya Kiran. You can take it down. Nepal Surya Kiran. Japan Dharma Guardian and Sinu Maitri. With Japan there were 2 such exercises, Dharma Guardian and Sinu Maitri. With Russia it was Center and Indra. With Russia you can say it is Centra and Indra. Both were conducted in 2019. 10 here, this is Indra 10. That means this is the 10th time this activity has been performed along with Russia. Another important partner of India in case of defense is obviously USA. So with USA, these are the activities or exercise performed in 2019. It was Tiger Triumph and Yuddha Abhyas. Yuddha Abhyas is a regular one which time to time India keeps on performing with USA. Yuddha Abhyas and Tiger Triumph. Okay. Let us move to the next question. Yuddha Abhyas, USA. Okay, next more question. The Valley of Flowers is located in Uttarakhand. Valley of Flowers is located in Uttarakhand. Let us also see who are the political leaders and political party in this state, because in bank exams you have seen usually they ask questions on which party won the election for any recent election and also the name of the chief minister. So Arunachal Pradesh chief minister is Pema Khandu. Pema Khandu represents BJP at present. So Bharatiya Janata Party, Arunachal Pradesh chief minister is Pema Khandu. And the ruling party is Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. Meghalaya is Conrad Konkal Sangma. Conrad Konkal Sangma. Ruling party is National People's Party. National People's Party. Meghalaya National People's Party. Alright. Assam. Chief Minister is Mr. Sarvananda Sonowal. Ruling party is Bharatiya Janata Party. Assam Chief Minister Mr. Sarvananda Sonowal, and ruling party is BJP. Uttarakhand, Trivendra Singh Rawat. Uttarakhand CM Trivendra Singh Rawat. Ruling party is BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. Trivendra Singh Rawat. And Himachal Pradesh is Jairam Thakur. Himachal Pradesh is CM is Jairam Thakur. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister is Jairam Thakur. Okay. Let us move to the next question. At present, how many banking ombudsman centers operate in the country? Answer is 22. Option number 4, 22. What is banking ombudsman? Banking ombudsman is a high official of RBI. So it's a human being. It's a high official of RBI appointed by RBI as banking ombudsman, and the purpose is to resolve bank complaints. I'm repeating it. Banking ombudsman is generally a high official of RBI appointed by RBI as banking ombudsman, and the purpose is resolving complaints related to banking services. Now, suppose a person is having some issue with the bank. Maybe one of his amount is not featuring in the bank statement, or his ATM card is not producing some details. So similar type of situation may happen. Now if he lodge a complaint with the bank, and the bank is not able to resolve within 1 month, then the person can move towards banking ombudsman. So again I am repeating, if the complaint is not resolved by the branch within 1 month, then the person can move towards banking ombudsman. There is one more case. At the beginning itself, if the bank is not accepting the complaint of the customer, then also he or she can move to the banking ombudsman. Alright. So at present there are 22 banking ombudsmen present in the country, and most of the banking ombudsmen are in the state capital of different states. These are the banking ombudsmen we have. Okay. Please take it down. The time limit so that we can move to banking ombudsman is 1 month. Dash conducts overwriting, loan services, financial advising and fundraising for large corporations and high net worth individual. Look at this particular term, high net worth individual. This stands for HNI. HNI. This question has been asked in bank exam earlier. What does HNI stand for? HNI stands for H, high net worth individual. Now the answer for this is merchant banking. Merchant banking is into underwriting, loan services, financial advising and fundraising for large corporations and HNI customers. Now what is general banking? General banking is the practicing general banking operation. When I say general banking operation, what does it mean? It means accepting deposits, forwarding loans, providing payment services, locker facility and etc. So this is general banking. What we have been generally see banks usually perform. Now retail banking is general banking for the individual customers, like a salaried employee, a student, a small businessman. For this type of cases, whatever general banking services are offered, that is known as retail banking. On the other side, we have something called wholesale banking. Wholesaler, we have heard of this word, wholesaler, wholesale banking. So wholesale banking is again a similar. Retail banking is for small or individual customers. Wholesale banking is something like for bigger customers, like big corporates, big companies. These are all wholesale banking. Smart banking is moving beyond branch level operation or branch banking towards more towards digital and technology driven banking with more efficient approach and more profitable approach towards banking. So, this is how we can say smart banking. So coming once again, general banking is what we have been generally see, the common banking operations. Smart banking, almost the same thing, but the way they are performed, instead of moving to from brick mortar branch towards some digital platform and maybe some mobile platform, then we can call it smart banking. Capital banking or investment banking are almost similar, and we still have two more terms related to banking. One is universal banking and the second one is narrow banking. Okay. Universal banking is a financial supermarket. You can say a bank which is practicing universal banking, they are into a financial supermarket where you can get almost every single financial products, starting from maybe insurance. If a bank sells insurance, it is called bancassurance. I'm sure you have come across this term, a bank branch selling an insurance called bancassurance. So insurance, car loan, auto loan, personal loan, credit card, corporate loan, letter of credit, locker facility. If it provides all the possible financial products under the same roof, then we say the bank is into universal banking. It is practicing universal banking. On the contrary, in narrow banking, the bank does not explore into all these cases. Rather, they are into such areas where the risk is very less. For example, if a bank gives loan only against fixed deposit, or the bank allocates its resources for government security only, so the risk factor is very less. So we say the bank is practicing narrow banking. Once again, universal banking is a practice where the bank offers almost every possible banking services. Narrow banking is very limited towards a certain one or two areas where the risk is very, very less. So that is narrow banking. Okay, let us move to the next question. Dash are temporary overdrafts by RBI to government, central as well as state under section 17(5) of RBI Act. Now let us look at this word temporary overdrafts. Now what is an overdraft facility? Overdraft facility is something like it is a loan, but it is somehow different from the conventional loan. A similar term is cash credit, not same. Remember, similar, they are not same, but they are similar. Cash credit, CC. This is CC account. Current account, a bank can provide in a current account to a customer. They can provide these two facilities. One is cash credit and the other is overdraft. If a customer, please try to understand the difference between cash credit and overdraft. If a customer is willing to take a cash credit facility, then he can overdraw his account, which means if in his account, suppose he has only 2000 rupees and the bank gave him a cash credit limit of 1 lakh rupees. Now in that year, any time the customer can take or withdraw an amount up to 1 lakh, even though it is not there in his account. He can withdraw any amount up to 1 lakh anytime without taking a fresh permission from the bank. And he can repay as and when he wants to pay it. And there is no separate mention about EMI. There is no regular monthly installment scheme like he has to pay every month 10,000 rupees, nothing like it. If he wishes to pay maybe 50,000 rupees today, it is okay. Then interest will be calculated on remaining 50,000. Tomorrow he pays another 20,000. So the interest will be calculated on remaining 30,000. In between he can again withdraw 20,000 rupees. And the facility remains there for the entire year, and at the end of the year bank will charge certain amount for maintaining the cash credit facility. It is like similar to credit card facility. Whereas in case of overdraft, it is slightly different. For every time the customer is going to avail an overdraft facility, he has to take a permission from the bank manager. That's why we say it is under the discretion of the branch manager. And overdraft is a temporary facility. That means once you take it, it is over. Next time you have to take it, the facility is no more available. You have to approach to the branch manager once again. Cash credit is a continuous facility. You took this facility once and then you can avail the facility anytime in that year. Next year you can once again renew it. So this is for individual customer and the bank. Now here the question is not that. Here it is between government and RBI. Now as we know, RBI is known as the banker of the government. Which means for the central government as well as state government, who is the bank? RBI is the bank. Now suppose the central government and the state government fall short of liquidity, short-term liquidity shortfall, short-term liquidity crunch. Then they can approach to RBI, and under this temporary overdraft facility they can borrow from RBI, which is known as ways and means advance. It's known as ways and means advance. Remember, this is for short-term liquidity crisis. Very, very important. This is for short-term liquidity crisis of the government. RBI, from RBI, central government as well as state government can borrow. Okay. Another term or another thing I have discussed, overdraft is a temporary facility, cash credit is a regular facility in case of current account. Let us look at YTM, that is yield to maturity. YTM, yield to maturity. Now what is YTM? YTM is the total return expected on bond if the bond is held until it matures. Okay. Now what does it mean? Suppose I brought a fixed deposit, and that fixed deposit is going to mature after 2 years. Now what is the expected yield? How much I can expect, that how much return I can expect after 2 years? If I calculate at present value, that is what is YTM, yield to mature. So you can see this has nothing to do with the question. Treasury bill and cash management bill, C and B, treasury bill and cash management, both are government securities. Please take it down. In some of the later session, we'll also discuss in detail about government securities. I'll just go through this too. So you can take it down. Treasury bills, in short T-bills. capital T dash bills are short term government security. Short term, when I say, it means the maturity period is less than 1 year. So please take it down, less than 1 year. There are three types of treasury bills are very common in India, issued by central government. T-bill 91 days, T-bill 91 days, T-bill 182 days, and T-bill 364 days. T-bill 91 days, T-bill 182 days, and T-bill 364 days. This days shows the maturity period. CMB or cash management bill is not a regular government security, but yes, RBI issued it in past. This is a very short term, 15 days or 30 days. And these are introduced to bring balance in the value and volume of currency in the system. So short term balance, to encounter short term imbalance in the system, they introduced, or RBI introduced, CMB, cash management bill. But unlike treasury bill, this is not a regular one. Treasury bill is a regular one where every year and every time RBI keeps on issuing treasury bill. Cash management bills are issued in a short term basis and not always. Very short term, 15 days to 30 days. Also remember, treasury bills can be traded in money market. Treasury bills are also money market instrument. They can be traded in money market. Please take it down. If any doubt is there, it will be addressed in some later sessions. We'll have a separate session on money market. Treasury bill is a money market instrument. Okay. The fifth option, commercial paper. So what is a commercial paper and who can issue it? What is the duration, maturity period of commercial paper? Is it secured or unsecured? So we are going to address these four questions. I am repeating it. What is a commercial paper? Who can issue a commercial paper? What is the duration or maturity period of commercial paper? And is it secured or unsecured? So let me take the first question, commercial paper. Please take it down. Commercial papers are promissory notes. Commercial papers are promissory notes and debt instrument, DEBT, debt instrument. Commercial papers are promissory notes and debt instrument, DEBT. Let us take an example to understand what I just said. Suppose I want to borrow some money. I want to borrow 10,000 rupees from my friend. And while borrowing it, I gave it in writing. I wrote it down in the piece of paper that next month on this date I am going to give it back to you, and I signed it. So he will keep my promise, he will consider my promise because he knows me. So that written document is a promissory note. But a third party who does not know me will not accept my promissory note. Right? Now look at the other aspect. This was a promissory note as well as it was a debt instrument. How? Because I have borrowed the money from him, from my friend. Using this paper, I borrowed some money from my friend. Now, commercial paper are similar documents, physical documents. Remember, they are not dematerialized. That means they are not in digital document, they are physical document. So commercial papers are issued by big corporates. Write it down. Commercial papers are issued by big corporates with good credit rating. commercial papers are issued by big corporates with good credit rating. Now what happens? As per RBI guideline, everybody cannot issue this commercial paper. To issue a commercial paper, a corporate need to have credit rating from the reputed credit rating agencies like CRISIL, CARE, ICRA. So only once a company or a corporate has a credit rating, then only they can issue a commercial paper. What is the purpose of issuing a commercial paper? To raise fund. To raise fund from the market. What type of fund? Short-term fund. So what is the tenure? 7 days to 270 days. The tenure is 7 days to 270 days. That means the maturity period of a commercial paper is from 7 days to 270 days. Now the next question, is it secured or unsecured? Answer is unsecured. However, the risk is less. But you have to understand, this is not a promise by the bank. This is not a promise by RBI. This is not a promise by the government of India. It is a promise by a corporate. Only thing is, it has been backed up by the credit rating agencies. So, commercial papers are short-term debt instrument. It is a promissory note. It is unsecured and it can further be traded in money market. That means a commercial paper can be traded in money market. That means I have a commercial paper. I took it from maybe some party X. I can further sell it to somebody else. So it can further be traded in the money market. Whereas certificate of deposit is another term which is issued by bank, which is a secured instrument. We'll come to this maybe some later class. So let's have a quick recap of what I have discussed. A short-term liquidity shortfall or crisis for central or state government, they can go to RBI and under this ways and means advance, they can borrow from RBI. Treasury bill and cash management bill are government securities. Both are having maturity period of less than 1 year. Treasury bills 91 days, 182 days, 364 days. Cash management bill are very less, 15 and 30 days maturity period. CMBs are issued not on regular basis, time to time, as in when RBI fills a requirement. They are sold through open market operation, OMO, open market operation, to bring balance in the liquidity level in the system. Treasury bills and commercial papers both are money market instruments. They can further be traded in money market. Okay, let us move to the next question. MICR is a technology used to verify the legitimacy of paper documents, especially checks. What does C stand for in MICR? Now let us look at an image. It will become clear. This is a sample image of a check, and all the checks at present will have at least these 3 numbers. This is the account number. This is where you can see this is AC number, account number. This is a check number, 6 digit. This is MICR number, 9 character, 9 numbers. First 3 for city, next 3 for bank, and last 3 for branch. MICR code 9, numeric code 333, first 3 for city, next 3 for bank, and last 3 for branch. IFS code, I'm sure you know it, 11 character. IFS code is used for NEFT, RTGS and IMPS. IFS code, IFSC, IFS code is used for NEFT, RTGS and IMPS. MICR code is mostly used for CTS, check truncation system. At present, whatever check clearing takes place, all the check clearing are through CTS, check truncation system. This CTS process is performed using MICR code 9 digits. IFS 11, first 4 name of the bank. Here ALLA stands for Allahabad Bank. 5th digit is by default 0 for all banks. Next 3 city and last 3 for branch. This is for city and this for branch. 11 alphanumeric code. We have one more code, Swift code or BIC. Both are actually same. You can BIC is used in an international level and we can also say Swift code. They are not different. Bank identifier code or Swift code. You can take it down, BIC, Bank Identifier Code or Swift code. SWIFT stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. This is generally a 8 character, but then there are options 11 or 8. So Swift code or BIC code is 8 or 11. The last three are optional. Last 3 characters are optional. This is for SBI, this is for ICICI Bank, this is for HDFC Bank. Last 3 are optional. This is IN stands for India. This represents the country code. IN, you can see this IN is for same for all these codes. IN is for India and this last 3 are optional. So Swift code 8 or 11. Use of Swift code to transfer money outside India and vice versa. Internationally, money transfer takes place from one country to another country takes place using Swift code. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Annual festival of Kheer Bhavani Mela on Jest Ashtami celebrated in the state of. Annual festival of Kheer Bhavani Mela on Jest Ashtami celebrated in the state of. Answer is Jammu and Kashmir. Kheer Bhavani Mela. We know that recently it has become a union territory and the Lieutenant Governor is Sri Girish Chandra Murmu. Lieutenant Governor of this union territory is Sri Girish Chandra Murmu. Odisha is Naveen Patnaik, Chief Minister Mr. Naveen Patnaik. Odisha Chief Minister Mr. Naveen Patnaik. Maharashtra Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. Sikkim Prem Singh Tamang and Arunachal Pema Khandu we have already discussed. The capital of Slovakia. The capital of Slovakia is Bratislava. Option number B. The capital of Slovakia, Bratislava. Let's go to the next question. Who is the author of the book A Prime Minister to Remember Memories of a Military Chief? Answer is Sushil Kumar, Admiral Chief of Indian Army, ex-Admiral Chief of Indian Army, who wrote this decision, who wrote this book based on his memories of the late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji and his decisions relative to the defense sector of the country. Key decisions made by Atal Bihari Ji. He has penned down all his experience related to that. Answer is Sushil Kumar. Harper Lee is a novelist. Vinay Satpathy is again, there are two famous books. Novelist, Half Lion, The Man Who Remade India. Both the books are on the, again, another late Prime Minister of India, Narasimha Rao Ji. The Man Who Remade India, Half Lion. Vinay Satpathy, author of Half Lion and The Man Who Remade India. Both are based on the decisions and biography of late Prime Minister Mr. Rao, Narasimha Rao, P.V. Narasimha Rao. Prashant Bhushan is a politician as well as a lawyer in Supreme Court. Sudha Murthy, wife of Mr. Narayan Murthy, and she is also a reputed author, a philanthropist. Sudha Murthy. Option number 5 and 3-2 is the answer, Mr. Sushil Kumar. World Organ Donation Day. World Organ Donation Day is observed on August 13. World Organ Donation Day is observed on August 13. September 22 is Rose Day, Welfare of Cancer Patient. September 22, Rose Day. October 2, Gandhi Jayanti. And July 18 is Mandela Day. July 18 is Mandela Day. Okay, I hope you could take it down. September 22 is Rose Day. October 2 is Gandhi Jayanti, and July 18 is Mandela Day, Nelson Mandela Day. Which among the following cities hosted the 3rd International Symposium on Marine Ecosystems Challenges and Opportunities from January 7 to 10, 2020? Answer is Kochi. Marine Ecosystems Challenge and Opportunities from January 7 to 10, 2020. Answer is Cochin. As per the grading standards, next question, as per the grading standards set by the Airports Council International, which Indian airport had recently received international recognition for reducing its carbon emission level? Kolkata Airport, Bhubaneswar Airport, Varanasi Airport and Trivandrum International Airport. Answer is all of the above for reducing carbon emission level. Airports Council International, ACI. Answer is option number 5. Let's move to the next question. The Appointments Committee of Cabinet has recently approved the extension of the tenure of all members of the current part-time chairman of the Bank Board Bureau by 2 years, which is coming to end on April 11, 2020. Which of the following is the chairman of Bank Board Bureau? Now, what is this Bank Board Bureau? What is their role? They are the headhunter for the top officials in public sector banks. In other words, the chairman, MD and CEOs of public sector banks are, found out by who should be appointed in those posts are found out by this board, and they recommend to RBI and the Government of India that this person should be approved and this person should be appointed. They are also responsible for meeting the board of the banks and devise strategies for the growth of the PSCs. That means these are the two main functions. They are also responsible to sit down, devise strategy with the board members of a particular PSP and devise strategy that how the bank can grow in future. The option is Bhanu Pratap Sharma. Let us look at the rest of the options. Atul Kumar Goel, CEO of UCO Bank. CEO of UCO Bank. Atul Kumar Goel, CEO of UCO Bank. CEO of UCO Bank. S. Hari Shankar. S. Hari Shankar, MD and CEO of Punjab and Sindh Bank. MD and CEO of Punjab and Sindh Bank. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, he was the CEO of Syndicate Bank, but then as you know that Syndicate Bank got merged with Canara Bank. Syndicate Bank got merged with Canara Bank, and now he is also the CEO of Canara Bank. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra, presently CEO of Canara Bank. Sunil Mehta, he was the CEO of Punjab National Bank. He was the CEO of Punjab National Bank, and now he is the CEO of IBA, Indian Banks Association. Sunil Mehta, CEO of Indian Banks Association, IBA. The chairman of IBA is Mr. Rajneesh Kumar, SBI chief. The chairman of SBI is Rajneesh Kumar. He is also the chairman of IBA, Indian Banks Association. The tenure of chairman is 1 year and the tenure of CEO is 3 years in case of IBA. Sunil Mehta is the CEO and Mr. Rajneesh Kumar is the chairman of IBA. IBA is, you can say, it is the father of IBPS. The body which conducts this bank exam is IBPS, is formed by IBA, Indian Banks Association. Alright, let us move to the next question. Identify the Indian origin politician who was recently appointed UK's new finance minister by Prime Minister Boris Johnson. So, identify the Indian origin politician. Gagan Mohindra is an MP in UK, Member of Parliament. Rishi Sunak is the answer. Alok Sharma is the Secretary of State for Business and Investment in UK. Alok Sharma, Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy UK. Priti Patel, you will see the name is featuring number of times in newspaper. She is the Home Secretary UK after Boris Johnson took over. She has been inducted as the Home Secretary. Priti Patel, Home Secretary UK, and Navvendu Mishra is again a Member of Parliament. Navvendu Mishra is again a Member of Parliament in UK. Name the scheme. Next question. Name the scheme that was recently launched by Union Minister of Women and Child Development and Textiles, Smriti Irani, for women empowerment. Please remember the name of the minister as well. The Union Minister for Women and Child Development and Textile. Two ministries are held by Smriti Irani. For women entrepreneurship, the scheme she has recently launched is Yashaswini scheme. Now, under this scheme, a women self-help group, please take it down, a women self-help group, SHG, women self-help group, SHG, can take interest-free loan up to 5 lakh. Under this scheme, a women SHG can take loan, interest-free loan up to 5 lakhs. Annapurna scheme is related to food grains. The central level Annapurna scheme is for the senior citizens who are not able to earn their livelihood, they are not pensioners. For them 10 kg of food grains are issued every month. However, in different states a similar name is also applicable, Annapurna scheme, but almost all the cases these are related to food grain. STEP stands for support to training and employment program for women. Support to training and employment program for women. This is not a new one, it is an old one only. Support to training and employment program for women. Alright, so we are moving to the next question. Which among the following institutions recently released the 15th edition of Global Risk Report? This report actually predicts the global risk the possible risks the world is going to face in coming days. The answer is World Economic Forum. It released this report in the month of January. However, unfortunately, they could not predict the risk of COVID-19. Which former cricketer has been nominated in the Laurent list for most inspiring sporting event for the last 20 years? Now, if you look at this particular organization, they celebrate the top 20 sporting events in the last 20 years. The award or the honor, for those moments that exemplify the true value of sports, fair play, sportsmanship, humanity, overcoming adversity, and most importantly, the power of sports to unite us. So from all these aspects, the voting is done, and based on that, the winner is chosen. The answer is Sachin Tendulkar, and the event is his victory lap around the Wankhede Stadium after winning the World Cup 2011. So this particular incident is given the most inspiring sporting event of the last 20 years. Sachin Tendulkar is the answer, option number 3. Let us move to the next question. As per the 23rd Annual Global CEO Survey by PwC, India was ranked the best market for global companies looking for growth abroad. 23rd Annual Global CEO Survey by the PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, India was ranked the answer is 4th best market for global companies looking for growth abroad. Who among the following has taken over as the new chair of Forum for the election management bodies of South Asia for the year 2020? Chair of the Forum of the election management bodies of South Asia for the year 2020, answer is Sunil Arora. Mr. Sunil Arora is also the Chief Election Commissioner of India at present. Chief Election Commissioner of India at present, Sunil Arora. Nasim Zaidi is again ex-CEC, Chief Election Commissioner. Om Prakash Rawat is the last Chief Election Commissioner before Sunil Arora. So Om Prakash Rawat was the 22nd Chief Election Commissioner. Sunil Arora is the 23rd CEC. V.S. Sampath, Achal Kumar Jyoti, both are ex-CEC, Chief Election Commissioner of India. So remember, this option is also important. The question could be asked in other way also. Who is the present Election Commissioner of India? Mr. Sunil Arora, present Chief Election Commissioner of India. The Reserve Bank of India, under the aegis of Financial Inclusion Advisory Committee, has initiated the process of formulation of the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion for the period. National Strategy for Financial Inclusion. The financial inclusion term, we have been listening to this term for quite long term, and this is something which is one of the important aspect of banking expansion in the last 22 years in our country. Almost in 1996 onwards, the focus on financial inclusion has been put in. And what is financial inclusion is actually bringing everyone, the rural people, the common people, the poor, everyone under the financial services, under the umbrella of financial services, so that everyone have the access to small credit or maybe deposits of money or savings. Now, time to time, number of decisions are taken. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is one of the flagship movement in this particular objective. Payment banks, small banks, business correspondents, a lot of other aspects are there. Now, this National Strategy for Financial Inclusion was introduced for the period for 2019 to 2024. 2019 to 2024. Option number 2. The market regulator, SEBI, has recently constituted a committee that will present its suggestions on policy matters pertaining to the development of municipal debt securities and to facilitate municipalities for issuance of such bonds. The committee will be headed by. Now, as we know, SEBI stands for Security Exchange Board of India. Now, this SEBI has set up this committee to, suggestions related to the municipality debt securities. Now, please understand, as of now, only central government and state government could issue securities to raise funds so that they can use it for the developmental purpose. Now, the municipalities are also allowed, and whether they should do it and how they should do it. So, there has to be a policy, and so that the municipalities can issue their own bonds or debt securities so that they can also raise money. The committee is headed by Sujit Prasad. If you look at the rest of the options, Chairman of SEBI is Mr. Ajay Tyagi. Chairman of SEBI is Mr. Ajay Tyagi. If you look at this, Ajay Tyagi. These members, Ananta Barua, G. Mahalingam, S.K. Mohanty and Madhvi Puri Bach, they are full-time members of the board of SEBI. V. Ravi Anshuman is a part-time member of the board of SEBI. These 4 members, they are the full-time members of SEBI, and Ajay Tyagi is the chairman. You must remember, Ajay Tyagi is the chairman of SEBI, and these are the people who are the members of the full-time members of the board. All right. So, I hope you could take it down. This is so important. These are okay, but this you must remember. Let us move to the next question. India has been ranked dash in the Economist Intelligence Unit World Educating for the Future Index WEFFI 2019. The answer is 35th. India has been ranked 35th in the Economist Intelligence Unit World Educating for Future Index. Which Indian company has signed a deal with Russia's Rosneft for the annual purchase of 2 million metric tons of Urals grade crude oil? 2 million metric tons of Urals grade of crude oil. Answer is Indian Oil Corporation Limited, IOCL. Alright, that's all for the day. Thank you.